chairman. Let's bring in Congressman Adam Schiff. He's the top Democrat, the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. You've gone through the document. I've gone through this superseding criminal information document. What's your reaction?
My reaction is he admits to all the allegations, basically, that he had contested in the first trial, those that the jury had hung on, as well as the charges in the new indictment that he was facing trial. So it's quite a coup, I think, for special counsel. He's basically fessed up to everything, entered a cooperation agreement. It means that Mueller's team now focus on other aspects of the investigation. Depending on the breadth of that cooperation agreement, he obviously could add a lot of value to our understanding of the issue of potential conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russians. Whether the cooperation agreement goes that far, though, yet remains to be seen. Everything
so far that I've seen in this document deals with allegations, criminal allegations against him long before he became the Trump campaign chairman. Over the years, the decade leading up to this, when he took about $60 million from pro-Russian Ukrainian oligarchs and Ukrainian government officials. I don't see anything in here directly related to the Trump campaign.
Well, some of the allegations actually of the money laundering go up through the campaign, and indeed the witness tampering goes even beyond the campaign.
Witness tampering, yes.
So there are certainly very contemporaneous criminal allegations he's pleading guilty to, so the president can't say this is old news. But here's what he has to offer, and here's where this all comes together. We know that at the time the Russians were offering dirt to the Trump campaign, dirt on Hillary Clinton, Manafort is reaching out through his Russian contacts, Deripaska, among others, and offering information on the campaign in order to get money he believes was owed him for work in Ukraine. So you have these two converging interests, the Russians in wanting a relationship with the campaign through Manafort wanting something of value, money from the Russians. He could shed a lot of light on this, but again, I think we have to be circumspect here. This is someone who's been in a joint defense agreement with Trump, someone who still, I believe, wants a pardon, and someone who's admitted to basically witness tampering and obstructing justice. So the extent to which he's going to be willing to cooperate, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, he's not going to be sentenced until the prosecutors, the Mueller team, knows the full extent of his cooperation and if he's completely telling the truth.
Yes, but, you know, again, it will depend on what he's agreed to cooperate about.
But supposedly he's willing to cooperate on everything.
I would hope so. I would hope, in fact, that cooperation agreement is broad enough to require him to testify before
His lawyer apparently said
Congress as well.
That he will fully cooperate.
Well, that could be very substantial because, again, he's a center player in that Trump Tower meeting. He could tell us what happened in the run-up to the meeting, at the meeting, what happened after the meeting. He could tell us about Kilimnik, someone that Mueller has said they believe is affiliated with the Russian GRU. The Russian GRU is the same outfit that was involved in hacking of the democratic organizations and helping to put out these damaging emails, or at least distracting emails.
Russian military intelligence.
Exactly.
And so how worried do you think the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., son-in-law Jared Kushner, they were all at that Russian, not the president, but the son-in-law and the son were there. How worried should they be, and how worried should the president be?
Well, look, the president certainly knows at least some subset of what Paul Manafort knows. But the Trump defense team has been working hand in hand with the Manafort defense team for months. So you would think that they would have some sense of their exposure. But they have to wonder, did Manafort tell their team everything? Just what kind of value is he hoping to get from prosecutors? So, yes, I think there's a lot of anxiety, unquestionably, now in Trump world. Yet another key witness, the campaign manager for the president, agreeing to cooperate, pleading guilty, admitting everything. You know, that's got to concern the president. Michael Cohen, Manafort, Gates.
Well, we have a graphic. Let me put it up on the screen. I'll show you all the Trump associates so far who have either are cooperating, pleaded guilty, or are cooperating or have been convicted in this particular case, including Paul Manafort, who's actually been convicted of those 8 counts, potentially could spend up to 7, 8, 10 years in jail.
Well, and I think we also have to really recognize the skill of the Mueller team. This was a major indictment when it was first returned by the grand jury, one of multiple indictments against the major figure in the Trump campaign, the very campaign manager, and to have him essentially admit to all the conduct he's been charged with to obviate the need for additional trials. That's big for the Mueller team. And when you think about it, in the last trial, you had a holdout juror. If that juror had held out not just on 10 counts, but on all counts, it would have been a completely different world we've been right now. We wouldn't be seeing this guilty plea. We wouldn't be seeing this cooperation agreement. So it's been a big development for the Mueller team.
It's a huge story that's unfolding right now, and the ramifications potentially could be enormous.